Hello and welcome back to the channel. Without further ado, we are getting right into the race start. It was a decent start, already made up one position here. The plan, as so often, is to make it to the first turn unscathed. I've lost that position now and I'm back to position 11. First turn coming up, it's going to be chaos is my assumption, and I'm banking on it so that we can make our way through and gain some additional position. I'm staying on the outside, which is probably not the best place to be, but it works out just fine. People are already going off left and right. 3 cars were off, 2 on the left, 1 on the right, and 1 further on the left, 2 on the left. We gotta slow down. The car behind me is doing a good job avoiding that crash and that action, and back onto that little tiny straight here. Oh my goodness, evasive action, but we're fine. If you're new to the channel, thank you for joining me. Welcome. This is my race recap from Laguna Seca from a few weeks ago. I'm a total newbie and rookie at iRacing, and as well a rookie at making YouTube videos, so stay around, stick around, and watch this journey over the next few weeks, months, and years as I become better at both of these tasks, both iRacing and making YouTube videos. This turn here, I actually do quite enjoy it. Lots of people went off here, but I did try to figure out eventually how to make it through here unscathed, and as you can see, I regained some time and space on the car in front of me. The upcoming Corkscrew turn here did present some kind of a challenge for me eventually. Never quite sure how to take it through here. Some cars were blasting through it. I usually went through here fine. Some of the things we want to watch out for in my races here are my consistency through these turns, my racecraft. At this race, I'm still trying to overtake people, not so much by racing skills, but by taking advantage of their mistakes. This will change over the next coming weeks. I've already made some improvements on that, but those videos are going to come out in a couple of weeks because it does take me a while to record, edit, and upload. While I was talking, we've lost a couple of places here, but that's all right in my mind because these two folks in front of me are allowing me to follow their lines, see where they're going differently than I am, and that helps me learn and improve my driving as well. Plus, there's always a chance that they will take each other out, and that will then let me go forward a couple places. There are actually 4 cars within sight here up ahead, and that is a good sign. iRacing does a very good job at pairing you up with drivers who are in a similar skill level. Of course, there's always going to be the couple of drivers who are way faster than everyone else. But overall, whenever I felt like I was making my way to the front of the pack and consistently finishing in the front of the pack, iRacing bumped me up into a different split, and that then bumped me back down to the middle of the pack. The way iRacing does this assignment of splits is quite nice. It does make sure that you're consistently improving and consistently have drivers who are better than you in front of you, and that is quite actually what we want here, so that's fine. Now I'm sticking with these 4 folks in front of me. Now I went a little bit wide here. That is something that happens sometimes when I'm missing my braking points, or just at least going through these corners too fast. I'm giving them more space here, partially because I'm unsure about how to take these corners, trying to take a look at where they are. And as you can see, giving people space is a good thing. Somebody went off. I'm trying to go around them on the side. Doesn't quite work out for me, so I follow my line, trying to get my line consistent through here, making my way for it, trying to not break as much as this guy in front of me. But that didn't quite work out. Again, it's giving them space, and I'm already starting to see where I might want to start braking for this last turn here and getting a little bit of a better exit, overtaking 2 cars in the process of it. As a newbie, after having practiced this for so many rounds, so many test drives, so many AI races, it's different when you drive with real humans. Their lines are different, they react differently, they take different risks. So there's always an adaptation challenge here. But I'm still sticking around with the 3 cars in front of us, and that's going to be an interesting battle. Keeping my distance, I'm not as close as the cars are bunched together, so I'm sticking a little bit further behind. I think that's fine. I'm comfortable with that distance. As long as I keep with them, I can see what they're doing. I can sort of figure out and gauge who they are, how they're driving, where they take risks, and then once I'm ready for it, get closer. My main goal here is, again, just consistently staying with it, hitting my lines, hitting my braking points, making it through these turns in a consistent manner, not trying to overtake everyone at will and at every opportunity. And this actually goes back to what I was saying earlier about iRacing pairing you up in splits with people of a similar skill level. This allows for these close battles. This allows for you to be trying to learn from people who are slightly faster than you, slightly in your class, and then trying to overtake them, trying to do things differently, and growing together as a cohort, even though you probably never see these people again. in the near future, or you'll see them again on the same day, a couple hours later, half an hour later on the next race. But other than that, similar skill levels, you will grow together, you'll learn from each other. And that makes each race enjoyable because it's not intimidating as much as you would think. There's, of course, a few drivers who are way faster in every single split than the rest of them. They go 3-4 seconds faster routinely through every single lap here. But by and large, you are with people of a similar skill level, and that makes it very enjoyable in the long run as well. Now, I've lost a bit of space and distance here to the cars in front of me, but I've gained a spot. I need to catch up with them a little bit and focus on the lines through here. The first turn is one that I did manage to go through in a somewhat satisfying fashion here. It was alright. In many of my races, after a couple of laps, I do find that I'm settling into a position, and then there's not much movement throughout the race to go up or down in positions after that, unless of course mistakes are made by myself or drivers immediately in front of me. But even then, because we settle into a position and the gap is growing consistently and at a regular rate, there is not much room for overtaking, even when the car in front of us makes a mistake, because they're consistently pulling away. And by the time I get them where they made a mistake, they've already recovered and are back on track. How's the experience for you when you are participating in an iRace and a sim race here? Do you consistently find yourself battling with people and around you, or do you also settle into a position after a while? Leave a comment, also leave a like, subscribe if you want to follow along for the journey for the next couple of weeks and months as I grow in iRacing and as I get better at making YouTube videos. If you're new to iRacing, or even if you're not, how many races per day do you try to drive? I usually try to go 1 day a week where I'm driving, and on that one day, I spend a lot of my time. Ooh, car goes off in front of me. And this is what I was saying earlier, my overtaking at this stage are still relying on people in front of me making mistakes, and then me not making mistakes and capitalizing on the other driver's mistakes. That, of course, that strategy, that tactic is changing as I get better, and over the next couple of weeks after this particular race, I have already noticed that I am trying to make more moves, trying to be more strategic and intentional with my driving lines as I get closer to cars in front, as there are cars behind. Trying to make overtakes when possible in a safe manner is, of course, priority number one, because we don't want to take ourselves out or the other car as we're trying to gain a position. This race here at Laguna Seca is quite a nice one. I was quite enjoying it. The track is really nice. The corkscrew at the end there, near the end, is interesting to drive through. And overall, the mix of high speed and low speed corners, medium speed corners as well, is really nice and enjoyable. It makes for an enjoyable experience where I can try to hone my skills, try to be consistent throughout every single turn. Even though I'm not on the perfect racing line and the perfect steering inputs, as long as I'm consistent, I'm happy, I'm improving. That consistency is important. When we're overtaking this other car here, and again, another one of those incidents where I can overtake a car not because of particularly excellent racing and excellent driving lines, but because the other car made a mistake. They made another mistake trying to go through the corkscrew, and that increases the gap between me and them, giving me a little bit more breathing room, which of course is always relaxing to the mind while driving. The car in front of us is about a turn ahead, so I need to catch up with them a little bit more. They made a mistake through that turn here, and we can gain a little bit of a position, not a position, but gaining time on them. So back to what I was saying earlier, every week I try to have at least one day where I can spend 1 or 2 hours practicing, getting familiar with a new track, and then if there is time, I try to race on that particular day. But usually I then spend a second day some other day in the week. Might not be the next day, might be a few days later, practicing again for an hour or so, and then jumping in on 1 or 2 races. That's usually my week. How about you? Leave a comment. How often do you race per week, per day? What is your preparation strategy? For me, I prepare by looking at the track map, of course, and then I just do some test drives, trying to figure out where to turn left and right, how the track is looking, what the scenery looks like, so I'm not distracted while I'm in the race trying to figure out what the view is, what these trailers on the left here are doing. But that's sort of the start, and then once I'm comfortable with that, I go for an AI race to figure out what the actual racing line is from the AI, so I avoid mistakes like this where I go far too far on the right, After the AI races, two or three AI races, trying to make my way from the back to the front of the AI race is usually when I go back to the test drives and work on individual corners. But then time is pressing usually, and I go into the actual races where I try to also figure out who are the better drivers in there, watch their qualifying times, watch their qualifying laps, and learn what they're doing differently. I've seen a couple times when there are turns where I do brake, the other drivers just lift and coast through, and that's that knowledge then helps me in the race as well. So it's always good to learn from other drivers, whether it's in qualifying or if it's reviewing the race that you've just completed. That green car in front of us is going to be the rival, so to speak, for the remainder of the race, which is not much, about 2 minutes are left. I know I've said it before that I do enjoy iRacing and the iRacing experience, and a big part of that is that overall, despite what you might see a lot on the internet, there is not that much of chaos. Most people are trying to do a good job, trying to race through here. Pretty much everyone is trying to do a good job, and that makes it enjoyable. So we've just overtaken that green car. They made a mistake through that turn 1. I've gotten ahead. But because everyone is pretty much similarly skilled in this particular split, the green car is sticking with me. They are going to make their way through. I'm going to be looking at the mirrors, my relatives, and as I then look and am distracted by this, because again, I'm not that good yet, I've just started a couple of weeks ago, months ago, the other car then does not make the same mistake, and they do catch up eventually again. Going through the corkscrew under pressure from the car behind is nerve-wracking, but this time I actually do a pretty good job compared to all the other times that I've went through here. So I'm never quite sure. I can't predict yet as I'm entering turns whether or not it's going to be an excellent go through the turn, or if it's just going to be okay. I usually can't tell when it's going to be completely wrong, as I've often missed my braking points, and I know when I've missed my braking points and I cancel the car down fast enough. But here again, too cautious, through that exit, didn't even use all the track. Braking here, trying to get this turn right. This turn is going to become, again, very important. I've overtaken several cars in this turn. I will overtake another car in this turn, and from that maneuver, actually the car that I will overtake at that point, in the very last lap, they do give me the well played commentary, and that actually did feel quite good. Another driver saying, hey, this was a nice race, I enjoyed racing against you, good stuff. And that again makes it enjoyable. Everyone is trying to improve, everyone's in the same boat, trying to make it around these turns. We're all the same skill level, and it's a nice experience. Every once in a while you're gonna have a great race, every once in a while you're gonna have a race when it's not your day, and most other races you're learning, you're improving, you're taking some turns well, you're not taking other turns well, but as long as you're learning, as long as you're happy to improve, everything I think is going well, and you're making progress, you're doing what you're supposed to do, and keeping it enjoyable is the main part. So don't worry too much about winning podiums and winning races even. Just drive, get better, that's my goal, that's what keeps me at it. As far as making YouTube videos goes, I still haven't quite figured out why the recording goes dark at some point. It didn't go that dark on the actual gameplay, it didn't go that dark before, so not sure why, not sure how to fix it. I'm using some free editing software. There's a way to make the brightness change, but then if I change the brightness on the dark parts, the bright parts go way too bright and oversaturated, so still having to figure out those. Bear with me while I do that. Coming down the hill, the green car did actually give me a little bump on the bumper, 0x incidents, which made me think that they're going to do a lunge and dive into the last turn, which they did, so I stayed on the outside, braked a little bit earlier, wanted to do the switch back here, and that worked out fine. I get him on the drag race up to the very end, and he does congratulate me with a well played. Super enjoyable race, loved it, good camaraderie, good rivalry. Thanks very much. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Bye.